welcome to my channel. So I'm doing a review on this movie that was completely off my radar, but just came onto my radar because it's blown up everywhere. And I don't really like musicals, but this movie went insanely hard. I'm talking about K-pop Demon Hunters. So this movie came out on Netflix the 20th of June, made by Sony. So it's already going to have pretty good animation because of the Spider-Verse. And all the other stuff I heard was hype. So I went and watched it, and damn, was the music good. I'm not really into K-pop, well, never really listened to it, but this is what K-pop sounds like all the time. Damn, it's good. I'm more into metal music, but damn, it was good. But I diverse. So this movie here, of course, as the name says, and you probably have seen it. If you haven't seen it, go watch it if you got Netflix. But it's, of course, the girl group Huntrix, who are demon hunters, but also pop stars fighting the demons. But I'll get into the beginning of my review at this very start of the movie, how it talks about, basically, like I said, they are hunters. So demons always haunted the world all the way back in the day, and these K-pop stars came out and started singing and defeated basically the demons while singing, and their singing got the souls of the people that lived in the town, and that's what they used to create the Honmoon, which keeps the demons from coming into the overworld, keeps them underneath. And each generation has had a new trio. Of course, now they got the trio that we see in this movie, which is Zoe, Mia, and then Rumi. I think I'm saying her name right. Don't mind my mispronunciation, I said that wrong. But so they started with that, and then we started off basically with the show, them talking about Mira, she was the problem child or something like that, and the family, I guess, didn't see her as the perfect child, so she went off and she joined this and found a place. Zoe was raised in America, as they said, and she used to rap her. And then Rumi, her mother was Sunlight's sister, and then she passed away, and then she was brought up by one of the other Sunlight sisters, and they built Huntrix around Rumi, basically, because I'll get into that part why. If you've already seen the movie, you probably already know. But then they're on a plane eating sushi, and Rumi's eating sushi, the other one's eating other stuff. But then there's demons that have taken over the plane, basically, and they basically flew past the concert where they were meant to, I guess, jump out of the plane or be already arriving at. And Bobby, their the manager, he was worried, and then basically we got into, after they realized what was going on and realized the demons, we came into our very first killer, how I think the song's called How It's Done, but killer sound, first song on the movie. And it's damn, if this is what the rest of the movie is going to be like, which it was, it's going to be killer. And I'm definitely not one for musicals, but I thought this was sick. And then basically the killer soundtrack just started playing as they're fighting demons, and it's a killer starter, killer opening to any movie. Beat the demons, sort of. They break away. Well, the plane is destroyed. They try and escape. It's fly down, so they go chasing after them after they eat their ramen, which is, I guess, another way of saying noodles, because that's what we say in Australia. There's a cup of noodles. So they eat their ramen, and then they go flying down. Killer shot, flying down with Zoe rapping really fast, and then they land on the stage where they're meant to be performing and perform the song. I said it before, I'll put it in here. But doing the song, and basically with Rumi's voice going off, with the song, they're starting to see gold. And then that's how their show ends, and we go straight to the demon world. It's basically underneath. I'm guessing this is taken in South Korea, if I'm not mistaken. And basically, there's the demon world underneath. So we see the main boss himself. I think he's Gima, basically the main guy, the basically leader of the demons, who seems very pissed off sometimes, and he had a very good voice actor. From what I know, he's a voice actor that was in Squid Game. I don't watch that show, so 100%. But yeah, basically the person who failed, he went there and he basically dissolved them, I guess you'd say. And yeah, says they were weak. Then we meet the next main character of the movie, and the main singer of the boy band that is coming up. And we meet Genu, who past 400 years has been a demon. But yeah, he comes in with a killer sort of opening for a character of mimicking the leader and then making a song out of it. But then he puts into perspective that they should make a demon boy band to go after the fans instead of doing what they've been doing this whole time. So they agree to it and off they go. So then it cuts back to just basically the girls coming back off the stage, and Rumi and then we're talking about everything, like they're just seeing God, so they're going to release the song. And then that's when Rumi's voice is starting to play up. She coughs and she's like, that's weird. And then they get water from Bobby because she's like, I need a bit of water. And damn it, this is how chaotic their whole management system goes with trying to look after him. Goddamn. But I don't know where I was going with that. But yeah, basically he was saying they got them amazing like hotel. They said they don't need that. They go into the bloody Stark Tower place that has the couch. Basically, they just want to relax on the couch. And Rumi said to Bobby, who's their main, Bobby, who's the manager, if he should take the holiday instead, which he denied at first, but he said yes, of course, because who wouldn't? And then so they head back to their main tower. Bloody rich they are by the sim of it. But that's where Rumi's like, yes, vacation. And basically in her mind, they're not going on vacation because this means a bit to her, and she releases the song Golden, which is like had the whole music video and everything to it, and that was fire. That song is really good. So they released it. She released the song, got the outfits. The outfits just barely sit down on the couch before she pops up behind them saying, "Nice, had a nice vacation," and basically they sat down. But she released a song, and it's going off. And then next part of the movie is them doing showing the music video to Golden, which the whole point of the song is to turn the Honmoon gold, basically. That's the whole point of the song, and whole point they're trying to get at. So they go through all these different interviews and promoting the thing, and then they're doing a live show, basically, I would say the night straight after they released it. And that's when they're doing their test performance, and then Rumi's voice starts having issues. Like she can't hit the note, and she goes again and still couldn't hit it. So she took 5 minutes. Actually, I cut a bit too far ahead. But before that was all shown, when they're in the back part getting ready for the show, they show Rumi separated from the others in a different room, and she takes off basically her dressing down. This is what we call it in Australia, but like her jammy things that go over the top. I don't know what other country call them. You guys should know, but what I'm showing on the screen. But she takes it off, and she's got demon patterns. And basically they explain that she's a demon because her father was a demon. So she's got part demon, part not. Where her voice kept cutting out, so she took 5 minutes, even though they went live in 10. She went into the, I guess you'd say the back room, and that's when she found out that, well, not really found out, but that's when she figured out that her demon patterns, her shame she's been holding, is starting to take away the one thing that she needs to fix it, her voice. So she freaks out and just runs away. Basically running, sprinting to, I guess, their building to go onto the roof. Then it plays a flashback of young Rumi with Celine, I'm pretty sure. Yep, Celine. And them singing the song, and that's when they reveal about her having a demon dad, and that's why she's part demon. And basically. Then we go off from that, and we show her getting onto the rooftop, and she's trying to sing the part, and basically still can't hit that note. And then she gets annoyed why her voice is breaking up when she's so close to finally getting rid of the patterns. And when she says why, she goes why again in the demon voice that she has, which seemed to hurt the Honmoon a bit, because you can see the pink waves going across from her demon voice. And then freaks her out, and then she goes back down to find the girls. Well, they end up back in the tower, and she says she's sorry to the girls about the show. And I find funny, it's like, oh, Bobby can handle it. He rings him and says he can't handle it, and there's million fans, and he only gets paid 3%. They only give him 3% to manage everything. As I thought was funny. And then basically go on about how this is so important to her. They get the thing golden, like the song release, and then the other awards they had to do. So Zoe came up with the bright idea of 57 ideas, but she wanted to choose favorite one to try and help fix Rumi's voice. So they go off the next day to go to find this doctor with his tonics or something like that, and basically Zoe's going on about that, like how it helps with everything else. And then this is where the Saja Boys, which is the Demon Boy band group, comes in with their name and everything about a show that they got going on. So they go in to the doctor thing, they go through everything else like that, so basically all that, and then, but of course we can see that he was full of crap, I guess you'd basically say. Juice, we'll find out the juice was not what they thought. So when they walked back out, when they left the doctors, they went to go walking back to their tower before they got seen, and they saw shadows, so they thought, it's fans. So the other two hid behind Rumi, and then it comes around the Demon Boy Band, all basically in their human form, and the girls start, Zoe and Mia, them two start freaking out about Abby, who's the guy with the abs, and they start freaking out. And then they have this completely weird, I know girls might suit it more, but completely weird thing out. Kind of funny it was. And then Rumi said bloody oh, they're gross. And then as she was saying gross, that's when Jinu basically comes around behind him, and she basically falls in love at love at first sight. Then as he walks basically past her, he knocks her shoulder, and it makes her fall over and drop her juice basically. I'm just going to call it juice. And then it seems like he's going to pick her up, and then he just puts his hand back, swipes off his shoulder, and she basically said, no, you watch yourself, and then back at him. And that's when they start going like, oh yeah, they're not cute anyway. And then basically they go to start doing their free live performance in the middle of, I guess you'd say, the main shopping center street, it looked like. And basically, yeah, so the girls come around to see what was the what the sound was of them, their performance starting. And then they realize that it was what they say jerks from before, and then realize it's a bloody boy band, Korean boy band, K-pop boy band, whatever you want to call it. And they're surprised, and then they're playing. Then they start basically, in that time of them figuring out, they're playing the song Soda Pop, which they created. So continue on. Then they basically keep singing the song, and then they made love hearts out of thin air, as well. The girls were enjoying the song too, and then they were wondering how on earth did they do that? And they figured it. Then they saw the patterns, and they were like, yep, demons. And basically they were saying why Regimus and the Demon Boy Band. Then they were doing a bunch of other stuff, saying demons aren't nice, but that goes more into the video, explaining a bit more. And so yeah, then they start doing the other part of basically they could tell that they were starting to come after the fans, so they were like, they had to stop it. There's the music again, and Genu looks down at Genu and then Rimu. I'm going to start mispronouncing these names, but at the very end of this video, I already know that. But yes, Rimu, and I'm going to say Rimu and Genu. That's the wrong pronunciation for Rimu's name, I'm pretty sure. But yeah, he looks down at her and then does the swipe on the shoulder thing. And basically they say, it's time to go kill mode and get rid of these demons, as the demon boy band's going on a famous live, like, reality show. So then they get basically suited up in some goth girl bloody black leather tights and all this other stuff, and then head to the show to try and surprise attack them when they finish. And they're doing hot sauce or something. They're drinking a bunch, see who can drink the most hot sauce. And basically Baby Saja, who is the rapper of that boy band, basically wins, because why not? And then Genu notices the trio up top, and basically spots him out, says Huntrix is here as a special guest, and they bring out a slide and they try and slide down it, but because they're in leather, they don't slide too well. And basically they say, like, they start bowing, saying it's our preza, and basically the demons go a 180 bow, which is, I'd love to see someone do that in real life. That's crazy. And as the curtain is shut, they're already running away, so Gil chase after him, and basically the whole thing was they basically run to a bathhouse, which I had no clue what they were until this movie, and I'm finding out a bit more. But yes, they run into a bathhouse. The girls have been trying to get Rumi to go to a bathhouse for so long, but she keeps denying it because of her patterns. So Zoe is finally so super happy that they finally get to go to the bathhouse. So they get in there and realize it's the men's. Typical. And then basically, I'll keep this a bit shorter. Basically, they get into a fight with the boy band, but they don't fight. The boy band gets the demon. Well, as I say, instead of boy band, they say the Saja boys. Instead of them fighting them, they get the water demons to come out and start fighting, which Rumi wasn't too happy, and basically goes after Genu, which they have a fight, a battle basically, and then they fight. Then with the battle, he scratches a bit of her side of her like arm, chip head off, and as she's going to pin to the wall, he realizes the patterns and pushes her back, and he's surprised that she is part demon but also hunter. And then that's when basically the wall breaks down, the girls are almost going to see, and Genu quickly, being nice, quickly covers up her marks basically, and the others don't see. And she goes out, helps the others, defeats the demons, and then it goes basically the tower that they have of them realizing about the looking at the hot moon, of it being worse than it was before, because of the Demon Boy Band. Some of their fans are now fans of Demon Boy Band, which is opening up the hot moon. And then I'm going to go see Genu, who was surprised about it, and he goes back to the demon world, which Gima has been watching all of this, and he realizes that one of the hunters has his mark and he has no control. Genu says that's perfect for them to try and help break her, and the scars mean that she's got shame, like this patterns. So they continue on with that plan, and then but yeah, basically she goes back into her room after they talk about a song and basically making Take Down as a song. She goes back into the room, has a bit of a flashback of Genu sort of helping her, and the next thing, the bird with a tiny hat, demon bird with a tiny hat pops on, and then we see Genu's tiger. This is kind of cute, but kind of scary at the same time. And basically, he's being, I guess you'd say, cute with knocking over a plant pot a few times, and then basically gives her the letter that Genu basically wrote on there about meeting, and she didn't want to at first, but she went off and did, and to meet him. Stealthy attacks. You can't even, like, she made no noise jumping up to the roof, and goes straight for the kill, but it's a mannequin, so she can kill him straight away from cutting off the head. And this is where they have some like talking. Yeah, he's like, I thought it was a nice icebreaker to break the ice and stuff like that. And then she's there wanting to basically kill him, and he said, "Hey, I just want to talk." She's surprised, and then instead of talking about her pants first, he mentions about her pants being teddy bears and choo-choo trains, which I cracked up laughing. This movie definitely has a lot of laughing parts and killer music, and it just makes it. She's still pissed off at him, and then he mentions about how he didn't tell the other two girls that she was a demon because they don't know. Then he realizes and basically confirms his suspicion about her, and then she says, then he asks about how she got the patterns, and then he says he knows how it feels to have them, and how she's always thought demons don't have feelings. But as he says, that's not true, because that's how the demons are controlled, is by their shame. And then he talks about a bit of his backstory. It's a fake part of his backstory about him. Well, half of it's fake. The first half is true, about how he was poor, him and his family were poor. He was trying to busk on the side of the street to get money, didn't work, and then he made a deal with Gamer to make his voice better and basically change his life around, which it did turn around. But the part that he said is that him and his family got to basically be accepted by the king. He lived in the palace grounds with his family, and they all got to eat, which then turned out later on in the movie that was wrong, and he abandoned his family, and only he went into the king's grounds, and that's what really was his shame that he was covering up. And then he was saying how hers are also a bit of shame of her own, but then she gets a bit more annoyed. He says denial because she says she's not like him, and basically, long time short, it ends, and then she goes back to the tower, and they start writing their song Takedown. And this is where a bit of basically B-roll of different things happening as time goes on. So a bit of like Soulja Boys won one of the reward things, then they won another one with Golden, and basically I think he got into a head that about being controlled. So Rumi starts second guessing things, and instead of killing the demon straight away, she asks Gima controlling, making you do this. The demon smiles. That's where Mira, I think it's Mira, comes out of nowhere and kills demon, and then she gets a bit suspicious. And then basically then we go on to the next part, which is when they're going to do like fan signing. So this is where the fans can come and do the signing. But of course there was 5 guys that slept in sleeping bags overnight. Of course these were the Soulja Boys, and they went, basically they took over, went to take over the thing. They got to their separate table, but then Rumi realized they lost more than half the fans, so they got them to sit with them. And this is a funny sort of part of basically what's Mira not liking the 2 boys that were near her and being pissed off, is that we didn't want to buddy sit with any of them until I forgot his name, but the one with the long hair sat next to her. Then basically Ginny of course sits down next to Ruby, which is sort of all the I guess you say the ships and stuff like that. And then basically the Genu and Rumi part, which was the main part of this one, of them talking about how Genu was saying how Gima was gonna like erase all the memories and stuff if he helped them, and she said basically he was pathetic for thinking that, and then he said she's pathetic for not mentioning, like speaking up about her patterns to the girls. Then she gets pissed off about that, saying how she hates the patterns, all demons, and then also hates like Gima. Then he sort of put a bit more perspective into her eyes about how if Hate could defeat Gima, he would have done it a long time ago, which made her change her thought process a little bit. And this like little kid gave this nice like letter to Genie about saying how he has a beautiful soul, and that sort of you can see in his face, it definitely hit him hard. And then Rumi was like, why don't you listen to those voices instead? And basically it goes like, woo, Genu, and whatever else that was, and continues on. But this is where Rumi's starting to figure out, like, not everything is exactly how she thought. So and we keep going into basically Mira comes into like Rumi's room after she comes in, basically confronts her about her being a bit weird lately, while Rumi's trying to like hide the demon cat, that tiger that she had, and acting weird with herself. But yeah, basically she says she's not hiding anything from her, which she is. And yeah, basically it kind of puts up Mira's suspicion a bit more, but she's trying not to think too much about it. And this is when Rumi sends a card off to Genu about meeting, and how the Saja boys are basically, they're feeding off their fans with the souls, and the people are going missing, which in this part, like one of the parts, they say the missing people have tripled in the last 24 hours of them, their boy band blowing up. But and then they're going to meet, and then this is where, like, kind of a funny part. There's a lot of funny parts for this movie, and basically he's there being like he says, he kitsamilled his way out just to jump scare me. So then they go on, he thought this was the date, which because the card says save the date on it, and she says basically he's old, which he is, he's 400 years old, as he says. And then she basically explains how there's another way for him to buy his freedom, and if him being on their side of the honeymoon when it's sealed will keep him away from Gima. The honeymoon will keep him away from Gima and stuff like that. Then he asks, why would the honeymoon accept the help a guy like him? Then Rumi says basically the bad side, well, the fake side of his story about him trying to help his family out, and he just made a mistake, which really he abandoned his family, but she didn't know at this time. And he says not that easy, but then, like she said, that she thought she was a mistake because her dad was a demon. Basically, she says like, if there's no hope for him, what hope is there for her? Then this lady comes out of nowhere saying, oh, brace up for your beautiful girlfriend. They keep going on a little bit back and forth about how, like, no, they're not. And she basically says that he's hopeless, find another guy. And nurse basically saying a Disney princess type of thing, of like a very good saying. Yeah, and he gets the bracelet back off her, says in his eyes that she's not a mistake, and that's when they awkwardly leave. And then we go on to the next part. Where they're getting ready to perform their song "Take Down" at the Idol Awards. They're getting ready, like practicing, and then Remu I'm saying that wrong now, but Remy basically doesn't want to sing the song because it doesn't fit with her motives anymore. They try and go fight the demons on the train, and that's when Remy gets interrogated about it, and she says not everything's about your insecurities. And then this is when they have a massive battle, but they sort of fail because all the passengers on the train, their souls were taken. So she goes to basically say they're going to win the awards, like the award show. She goes off and basically asks Genu to make basically the Saja boys lose, and they have this sort of like nice romantic sort of connection that you need that they put in these movies. But yes, basically they're talking. One part I thought was funny is when she mentioned about why does the bird wear their tiny hat, and basically Genu made the hat for the tiger, but the bird keeps taking it. And then this is where one of the other really good songs, Free, is sang. Yeah, then they basically do a duet of singing, and then this when they're up in the air, then they start floating up in the air, hold hands and stuff like that, and then basically with the singing, at the very end, after the singing, Genu cannot hear Gima anymore in his ear, and then he says he's going to make sure that Such a Boys lose, and that's when he gets dragged after saying goodbye, and he can't wait to see her on the stage next. That's when he gets sucked back into the demon world, and Gima heard the whole thing and basically laughed at him for thinking that he could be free, and basically tells him back to exactly the truth of the story. Basically, he reveals the true story of what happened with Genu instead of what Genu said, which then brings him back to what he originally was meant to do, which is destroy the K-pop band so then Gima can get all the souls. So yeah, then they go off to the outer. Well, she goes back to the tower to front the girls about the song. They choose to play Golden at the Idol Awards. So that's when the Idol Awards comes on, and as they get there, the Saja Boys were supposed to be on first, but then they ended up fighting, which is part of Genu's plan to screw over the girl band. So Huntrix goes out, performs their song Golden, which starts off like really good, and then Rumi starts doing her solo part of singing, and she hits all the notes, and it's like killing it out there. The girls get tricked, thinking the demons are stealing Bobby, so they go after him, after him realizing afterwards that they've been like faked out, thinking not realizing that the demons have like pulled him away for a certain reason. And after Rumi was almost getting gold out there, and as she's about the next part for the other girls to come in, it cuts out and they start playing Takedown, which the demons have figured out about Takedown somehow. And then they did some fake demon evil versions of the other two girls, Zoe and Mia. I'm going to call her Mia. And basically they start playing Takedown, and then they start trying to reveal, basically making Rumi find out a proper demon side, and showing off that Rumi was a demon basically, and putting off a thing, and then basically saying she doesn't deserve, I can't remember exactly what, and then she finally cracks, and then this is the most vulnerable demon type of part. After she screams, all the lights basically get screamed out, and then like get smashed out, and then the girls finally see her as with all her demon marks, and they're very like shocked because she never explained it. She came rushing off stage not realizing and the ones on stage were fake, and she didn't realize. Basically have a confrontation there, and basically she says like, don't, they start backing up. She says don't leave, she can still fix it, and then when she says fix it, she does a demon voice again, and then Mia puts up her weapon, and then Zoe hesitant but puts up some of her weapons too, and then Rumi runs away, which you can see the girls didn't want to fight her anyway because they are quite sad, and this is where she runs off to find Genu, which she's annoyed that he did this, and then this is where Genu tells Rumi about his actual story, because he says like he just made a mistake, but then he told her that basically he left them, and you can see that he regretted it, but like she said, that's not all he is, that's just his demon talking and trying to fight it. But then he says that's not how it works. She says yes it is. So yeah, basically like she basically was telling him to kill his demon, but she can't exactly, and then like I said, they're demons, and all they get to do is suffer with their mistakes basically. And this is where she's gone full, like basically her half demon has came out, where one of her eyes has gone demon like sort of eye, and then this is where the whole story's part like changes. When she's walking away, she's basically destroying the Honmoon as she is walking off, and then the other girls see that, they get taken by like the voices in the head from Gima, that are not like worthy enough, so then they get taken underneath the spell. And then this is where my favorite part of the whole like movie, this part of the movie was killer, was when Rumi went to like confront Celine. So she goes there and basically in a demon form, and says like, basically in a short, like, they all know, and then basically saying that she should she basically said to kill her, so that before she destroys the one thing she swore to protect. Then Celine said she can't, and basically this is where I kind of don't like Celine's character, was basically how she kept telling her to hide, like cover up, and basically are sick, especially the part where like Rumi sort of turns into a full demon part, and basically you think she's going villain type of way of saying like she's glad that the Honmoon is being destroyed. Then we go on to basically the boy band's final like takeover show with the song they play, I'll Be Like Your Idol, which was killer. It's a killer song too, a perfect like villain song, and all the lyrics, when you hear the lyrics properly, it's like basically everything, like basically saying like demon. It was a really good song. Like you should list, like the soundtrack apparently even topped the US charts. Like I'll Be Your Idol was #1 on Spotify in the US, and then Golden was #2, which is like apparently like no other K-pop band has ever done that. So like this movie was like the biggest thing. Like they got #1 on the Spotify list, and it's #1 movie on Netflix. Like it's just crazy. So basically they performed that song, and then Rumi comes in and as a demon form sings like a part of it that the hunters, like Celine sort of sang to her when she was little, and basically acknowledge that everybody sees her as she is now. The Honmoon is gone, but the Honmoon is gone, so they can build a new one. She starts off doing a solo part, which was I think the song's called I'm Done, and basically it's a really good song at the very end, and it makes the other girl snap out, and they start basically singing a good song. And what I realized in this part, and see Rumi when she's walking up, she's staring straight at Jinu, like she's not looking anywhere else. Like the other girls are fighting, and she's just like walking straight ahead, just staring at him, which I thought was like a cool detail. The other four guys in the boy band, they would jump in to like fight, but Jinu stays back, and then this is where Gima takes like back all the other demons, and then says that music cannot defeat him, and then shoots a massive like blast at Rumi to try and basically disintegrate her basically. So there she is fighting, and then Jinu sees this, and it's the part where Jinu sacrifices himself. So he goes there and then takes the full blunt of the force of the beam for her. This is where they sort of get the sad, not really ever happy ending part, where she's like, she wanted to set him free and didn't want this to happen, and basically said that she did set him free. She gave him his soul back, and now he's giving his soul to her, which this is where she sheds a bit of a tear. And then this is where basically she gets a power up with a sword, and all the souls come to her, and this is how she helps her to defeat Gima, and then they basically create a brand new Honmoon. And then the next clip is like them going to the bathhouse after the end, and basically she's finally able to be herself and not cover up or worrying about her patterns anymore, because now the girls know, everybody sort of knows, and this is sort of like helping her out. Of course, I guess she's probably they didn't really cover like her going through the grief of Jinu being gone, but she still has the like the tiger and the bird, so she's basically taken full like care of the two animals that used to be Jinu's. But yeah, that's my review, and basically talking about the movie, and I thought it was bloody really sick. This review's probably gone on for a bit too long. I chat too much. I probably make my next video a bit shorter. But yeah, this is my thoughts and review on this movie, and I hope you guys enjoyed. If you guys have stayed through all this, and I'll see you guys in the next one. And I also like, before I do that, I'd like to also know in the comments what your thoughts are of this movie. And don't forget to leave a like, subscribe, share with a friend, and peace out.